bubble wands. I'm gonna teach you guys how to bend some wire using any kind of, and I think I got like the crappiest of crap bubbles. Oh, I'm not ready for boyfriends yet. I'm not ready for boyfriends. So I'm definitely not ready. So we are talking bubble wands today, and 4th of July is coming. So what's better than, I know years ago, what was good for us as children is not good for children now. So I took some sari silk that I had laying around, because when I can't just buy one SKU of it, I buy like a lot. So I had this really pretty color, and I made, because I'm heading up to the lake, because you're all coming with me next week, did a little 4th of July Let Freedom ring on there with the initials of all my nieces and nephews, and wands instead of sparklers, which if they've never held a sparkler, they don't know the joy of holding a sparkler until you burn yourself. But so definitely wands, silk wands are fun at night or during the day. They could run around with them. Last time they were here, they were whipping each other with it. Sunny, I tried to make, oh, Mr. Panula there says no boyfriends. You're right, no boyfriends. No boyfriends, Sean. Hi, Carly from Wisconsin. Rona, girls are hard. 2 sets of twins, 5 years apart, all girls. You know what? I think boys and girls, people say like, oh, boys are harder than girls. I think both have their equal amount, because I see my boy moms and they're ready to pull their hair out too. So triplet boys, Terry, wow. That's a lot. So Sunny, back to making bubbles. So I was in the office on Monday, and of course, I came up with this idea to do bubble wands, and I grabbed the dish soap and it failed horribly, and Karen had to come over, and Karen's probably watching, and help me out with the dish soap because it was like all over the kitchen. She's like, how about we do this over the sink? Yeah, because I'm like a hurricane and a tornado wrapped into one when I'm in that building. So it's like, that's it. Girls are for daddy, boys are for mommy. Yeah. Brenda, you're leaving for the lake tonight? Until Sunday, nice. More soap. I think that was the problem, Sunny. It was like, I think too watery. Too watery. So these are 2 really good ideas, guys, to do not only for the 4th, but for any time of the year. We're going to work with 10 gauge wire in a brass, and I have I believe it's a 12 gauge wire that was just laying around the house. So I'm not sure if the 12 gauge wire is on the website, but definitely the 10 gauge wire is on ImpressArt.com that could be purchased. So I'm going to show you how to flatten it out using the chasing head, and we're going to stamp on them. And I think I'm going to get a little crazy and see if we could actually put some crystals in the bottom portion of our bubble wands. Happy July, yes. Perfect for tonight's Canada Day celebrations. Carly, yes. So these are really quick and easy things that you could do to jazz up any party. Let's say you have there's really only, out of 4 girls, there's only 5 children in the family. So this is something quick that I could whip up. I could either stamp on the go. I could take my kit with me and take it up to the lake and do these, or I could have them done here before I go. But they just add a little something. Both could be personalized and personable, and you can send them home with their mom so they can mix the dish soap and water, because Aunt Riri's not good at that. I'm not good at that. Not good at that. So yes, gathering in August. These are also great, guys, for birthday parties. These are great for weddings, So today we're going to make some bubble wands. And there's a kids craft page. They could also be for adults. I mean, I really enjoy blowing bubbles. So the kids craft link, Jen just posted at the bottom in your comments, will bring me to, if you're having more of an adult party, some martini stirrers or some iced drink stirrers. How about a nice funny quote in your mudslide? Jokes are always the best. You have the punchline at the bottom, so when they're finished with their drink, they could pull it out and see the answer to the joke. Bubbles. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who doesn't like bubbles? Who doesn't like bubbles? So a quick announcement. So I'm going to be, like I said, I'm taking you guys with me to the lake. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have Wi-Fi. If it happens that I don't have Wi-Fi, I am going to pre-record both projects, well, all three projects, before 1 o'clock. So if I can't get internet for some reason, because I know there's going to be a bunch of people up this weekend because we've all been quarantined and we're actually allowed to travel a little bit now, I will put up a pre-recorded, and then any questions you guys have, I'll be there to definitely answer them, Jen and myself. On Thursday, will definitely be a recorded video that I'll do Thursday morning at the lake for you guys, because I will be getting ready for the Michaels class. So the Michaels class is cuff bracelet class. So I'm going to walk you through lining your stamps up, your sticker guides, how to position your wording in the center of your bracelet, making sure that you're square on your bracelet, and we're going to go over bending. So definitely sign up for those classes, guys. Take advantage of that Michaels.com, those summer crafting classes. They're free. They're Zoom classes. The best thing about it is that you definitely get to see Jen, because Jen is there with me. She's not there with me. She's at her house or the office. So you'll get to see Jen. And at the end, if you're going to do a make along with us, and you could use any font, you don't have to use necessarily the font that I'm using. I get to see you guys if you have your cameras on, and you get to see me and I get to see what you're making. Or you could just hold up a sign that says stamping is fantastic, or hi Rita, hi Jen, or show me your bracelets. So that is actually the best part for me of those Michaels classes. So let me give you the information. So Jen's gonna post it in the links. So it's July 9th, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. So definitely, hello Noelle. So definitely join us. So like I said, if I get on Tuesday and Wednesday, I will be live at 1 o'clock unless there's some kind of an issue. If there's an issue, I'm going to try my best. Just hang there for me for a couple of seconds. If not, I will post a video that I did earlier before the class, just to make sure that we're together and we get some time in. All right. Okay, so I think we're going to start, and I think we're going to start with the bubble wand. I think we'll go with the more complicated one. So we're going to go with your 10 gauge wire. So this is going to take a lot of hammering. So I hope you guys have your earbuds in. All right? Or if you're at work, you turn that volume down in the office. All right. Okay, so I'm going to swing you guys over. Take you out of there. Well, welcome, Jennifer. You made it. All right. I'm going to pull you back just a little bit. Let's take that glare off. So you could definitely shop anything that I'm using today. Let me bring my wire down there. I'm also going to show you how you could use, let me dry my wands off from my bubbles and just walk you through it. Hi, Dave. Hi, Joanne. All right, so let's get to it. Let's pull this chair up. All right, So today we're going to be using our multifunction hammer quite a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to show you these really quick. So what I did here was I used our bracelet, a little bit of the bracelet, a little bit of the ring, bending plier, and I definitely gave this a ball peen texture. I used the blue enamel, and I've had it in my bubbles for, I want to say, me and my daughter were blowing bubbles last night. I was just blowing them before we started. So I definitely would say that the blue held up really nice on these. So if you want to accent them with some of the enamel, that would be great. So I used the 1.8 millimeter hearts that are in the heart pack. And I have, this is Adelaide Emerson, and that is one of our ImpressArt babies. So Allison, who is our creative director, that is her little bundle, her little fierce one. So, and what's great about these guys, you could stamp on both sides. So I did bubbles everywhere on one side using the Stargazer 2.5. Or I use the 3 millimeter Melody. So I really, I really hammered that down to give it a really flat effect, because this is what it was to start. Now what you need to know about this, I believe right now in stock we have the brass and the copper of the 10. So it has an anti-tarnish protection on it, which is nice, okay? And it's been holding up nicely with all of my bubbles. It hasn't come off, it hasn't chipped, it hasn't peeled. All right. And then I made just a really small one. If you're doing something quick, let's say you have the kids outside already and you just want to do one. I did some large hole beads, and then as I was doing it, my daughter walked over, of course, and gave me some of these aluminum cubes that, of course, she put her name on. So you could always string those on, and you could personalize. If you have a thin wire at home, you could always personalize it that way with your aluminum cubes, okay? And what I would do to hold these in place is I would put a little bit of GS Hypo, and I'll walk you through that. I think this is the first one that we're gonna do. So let's say you can't run to the store, and you have some wire at home. You're just going to, I'm gonna work with about, let's see, 10 inches of wire. I'm gonna take my cutters, just give it a snip, and it's on the floor. No, Stephanie, this is just, this is an aluminum. It is coated, rhodium coated, copper. Okay, but the 10 gauge we definitely have in stock. Okay, I am just giving you guys, if you don't want to use a thicker gauge, you could utilize a thinner gauge that you have at home. All right, so we'll start with that one. So let's stamp some. Let's do some stamping. I'm going to use Sailor. Sailor is a 4 millimeter unicase set, okay? And I am going to, let's see. I'm gonna do my name. Well, me and my husband's initials I'll do. So I'm going to center it on my aluminum block. Okay. The good thing about the 4 millimeter is that it takes up the entire block. And excuse my manicure, my clear nail polish is chipping off, so I apologize. So I'm going to center that. The good thing about the 4 millimeter stamps is that it takes up the entire cube. And I'm just going to give it a little tilt and tap just to really get it in there. gonna grab my ampersand. Okay, let's go with the S. The smallest size of a font set, Sharon, would be our sans serif 1.5. You could definitely use, on the 10 gauge, you could use the 1.5 as well. Although you could go up to a 3 millimeter, providing it's not a very wide font. All right, so here we go. So I have my cubes all done. Okay, I'll color them in after. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull you guys back a little bit because it's a little hard working. So when I'm going to make that round circle for my bubbles, okay, I'm going to use my ImpressArt ring bending pliers, okay? I'm just going to start at the end. See if I could get you guys a good view of that. So I'm going to start at the end and I'm just going to squeeze. I'm going to work my way around. Just like you're bending a ring, okay? So when I come down, so it's like that, I'm just going to come back in on this end. And I just want to form it a little bit, okay? So I want it just like that. Now I'm not worried that this is a little turned up there because let me show you what I'm going to do. You want to make sure that your metal is overlapping. So I'm going to come a little over. Then I'm going to use my ring plier. I'm going to grab it right here. I'm going to make sure that the beginning of my metal is crossed over, but it's not caught in the jaws of my plier. Does everybody see how it's just resting there ever so slightly? Then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm just going to push it to bend it just like that. Okay? Yes, Terry, you could use, I told you guys, your best tools for doing any kind, I'm telling you, is of course your seal block, your ergo angle hammer, but your multi-function hammer and your bracelet and ring bending tools are endless. The things that you could do are endless. Okay. So then I actually had the nylon head. If you have a metal that maybe it's coated or pleated, it's not such great quality that what you have at home, definitely use your nylon hammer. If you've worked with your wire before that you find in your jewelry box or your craft supplies, you could use the chasing head. So what I'm going to do with my nylon head, and I'm just going to give it a couple of taps. Okay. Then with my chasing head, I'm going to come in, switch out my nylon for my chasing. I want to give it some texture. Okay. I'm going to take my blocks off there. And pull this down a little bit. I just want to flatten that wire out. Does everybody see what's happening there? Do we see how we're getting that nice and flat? You don't need to do this. I like using that chasing head because I just feel that it gives it a little bit of an artisan, more of an artisan look. Okay. And it will start to curl because, again, you're forging metal. You're hitting metal. You're flattening it out. So what you're going to do with that is you're just going to take your fingers and bend it back, guys. Or you could take your nylon head, flip it over, and give it a couple of nice taps to bend it back into shape. So I'll show you guys how to do that. But I'm going to just continue with my chasing head down. Okay. Now, if you're working with beads, you want to put beads on, I wouldn't flatten it out too much. Okay. Because if you flatten it out, you're spreading it and it might not fit in your hole. And that might be the problem that I'm going to have now because I wanted to put some beads on here. So we'll see how that goes. Hi, Mary. All right. So I am then going to take some beads that I have, and I'm just going to take the green ones that I used before. Let's see. Okay, I didn't ruin it. Stephanie loves it. You're getting all my stamps. You could, right, Terry. So if you want to flatten this out a little bit more, I'm working with really large hole beads here. You could flatten your wire out a little bit more and it will work as a bead stopper. If you don't want to do that, you could always just drop a dot of GS Hypo in there. And I didn't enamel my beads, guys. Just want to show you really quick what you could do. And you could use smaller beads. I just took whatever I had. I grabbed whatever I had. Okay. So then I'm going to take the bottom and I'm going to use my round nose. Okay. Let me bend you up a little bit. I'm going to take it just like that. And I'm going to start her off and I'm just going to keep on rolling. Just like that. I'm going to take my chasing head, give it a couple of nice hits. Okay, now I could leave it like that. I want to bring it back because that's just me. I'm going to take it at the neck right here and I'm just going to bend it this way. Okay, so it looks just like that. Okay, and if it gets a little wonky, don't feel, definitely take your chasing head hammer to it. All right, I'm going to pull you back. So what I would do then is I would take my GS Hypo, which I know was here. I just used it. All right. You know there's always one thing that goes missing on your block, right? What do you guys misplace often? Is there something that you misplace often? Anyone? But I would take my GS Hypo and I would move my bead over, give it a couple of dots, and then move my bead right back over it. And there is your head. Me too. Yes, Tina, that happens to me all the time. Stephanie, my mind is gone a long time ago. Long time ago. I know the glue, and I know the glue is here. That's the sad thing. I literally just used it. So, and your glasses. I'm constantly yelling at my daughter, "Do you see my glasses?" So this is definitely something that's super cute. I mean, come on, really easy to do. And I'll post pictures of these in the comments after, when the Facebook Live is over. I'll come in and show you how it's done. All right. There we go. And it just has, I love it. See, I love, okay, very important. When you're doing these, guys, make sure that your wire is crossed over a slight bit, okay? You don't want a gap, because if you have a gap, then you're not going to get any bubbles and you'll become super frustrated. So definitely make sure that it's closed. All right. Now for the big one. This is the 10. So this is going to take a little bit more gusto, a little bit more hammering. And who doesn't love to hammer, right? I think that's what definitely sparked my interest with metal stamping, was the constant use of the hammer. So we're going to use 10 gauge. All right, and with that, I'm going to try and just eye my glue, which is non-existent. I don't know where the glue went. Let's see, really quick. Ah, here it is. So let's go back. Right, you know what, guys? Right in front of my face. The glue was right in front of me. So what I would do, let's go back to this for a second. Shelly, I didn't try. You definitely can. It's a metal glue, so I don't see why you couldn't. You could use it, but I've been blowing bubbles with these for the last couple of days, and you know, it didn't bother me, and I'm a stickler for certain things, but it didn't bother me that much that it was open. So there you go, guys. There you go, guys. So, Noelle, this one that I'm doing is 12. It's just a wire that I had laying around the house. Some wire, okay? And I snuck this one in for Jen. She's gonna kill me. Sorry, Jen. All right. So I'm not sure if we have any more of the 12 left. I know there are other gauges. Let's see. But you could even use a 18 gauge, guys. Okay? Great frustration relief, yes. So there you go. Some little GS Hypo, and let that dry. And there's your first one. Okay, for the second one. I'm using 10 gauge. Okay. And I'm going to start with, I want to say, about 10 inches. And I'm going to use my cutters and just give it a little nip. Okay. With this, we're going to start a little different. I'm going to bend my bottom first, and then I'm going to bend my top. Because it's thicker, I'm going to alternate between my bracelet bending plier and my ring bending plier. Yeah, Shelly, you probably have definitely have some wire in the garage. Okay. So I'm going to just clear away my table because it's a little, and bring you out a little bit. I just don't want you to fall out of my tripod, so it's easier for you to see this. Okay, so I'm going to start from the top of my wire and give it a squeeze, okay? And I'm going to continue to form it. And keep on bending. Okay, now I don't want to go all the way around with this because this is going to be my bottom. So I'm going to take that and see the edge right here, guys. I'm going to just bring it, I'm going to push it just like that. Okay. Just like that. And then I am going to come around, okay? And I'm gonna do my top. So how I'm gonna start my top is I'm going to, because I want this bubble, I want it a little bit larger. So I'm gonna come in with my bracelet bending and I'm just going to give it a little curve. And I'll show you in a second what I mean by just a little curve. Okay, just like that. All right, then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna use my ring bending plier, but I'm not gonna close it completely, guys. I want you just to see, I'm gonna just form it. See how I'm not really squeezing it tightly? I'm not closing the drawers completely. Okay, and you could see now, without closing those drawers completely, I have a bigger circle than I did at the bottom. Okay. Again, I'm going around. I have that, okay? So now I'm gonna come back in with my, bracelet pliers. And I know it looks like I'm unbending it, but I just wanna get it really nice and curved. So it's a couple of passes through. And then I'm gonna come back in again. Gail, you could definitely use a couple, you could, you know, wrap wire, a couple of wire pieces together. Then I'm gonna come around. So guys, it's basically just playing with your pliers. To see how much of a circle you want. And I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna bend it up, okay? So here is my first one. Now, it does look a little wonky. It's a thicker gauge, but when we come back in with our chasing head, you'll see how it starts to take shape. So I always like to work with the bottom handle first. Hi, Kim. And I'm gonna give it a couple of nice hits. I'm gonna flatten it out. You see it starts to move. It's okay. Let it do its thing. I'm gonna come around. And when you use that chasing head, it flattens it out. Like I said, it gives it that nice hammered look, very artisan. I happen to like that look, okay? So I'm just going to use my fingers and then pinch it a little closed, okay? Just like that. Flip it over. Give it a couple more hits. And then I'm going to concentrate on my bottom. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch out my chasing for my ball peen. And let me grab my ball peen hammer. My daughter's friends are here today stamping outside. So I had to go grab my hammer from one of them. So this is a ball peen head, guys, okay? It's another head that is inserted into the multifunction hammer, okay? This is the chasing head, Cynthia. Okay? This is your ball peen. And I am gonna take it and I'm gonna give it a ball peened look. And you could get really crazy with it. Okay? I'm not gonna be so aggressive with it. Just like that. Gonna come in on my handle and give it some texture. Like that. All right, and then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to flatten this a little bit more because I want to stamp a name on that. All right, and you could choose to close this. You could, if you have a large whole bead, you could put a large whole bead. You could end it with a, before you flatten this out too much, you could end it with one of the aluminum cubes. All right. So now to stamp on this, so now we've got that somewhat nice and flat. Let's see, what am I using? I'm gonna come in with Melody. All right. So we're gonna do Melody lowercase. Got my bead there. And I'm just going to make sure, let's see. Do I really want to, when you're up on the fence about what font you want to use? Guys, I think I wanted to use Melody. Do we have any suggestions? Any suggestions of a font that maybe you'd want to see? A smaller 3mm? Anyone? Let's see. I think, you know what, we'll stick. Let's go with lowercase. Let's go with lowercase Stargazer instead. You want a script font? Stephanie with the script font. I think we're going to use something a little less scripty on the bottom of this so it's easier for you guys to see. So let's use good old Stargazer. Alicia Lollipop is going to be to, you know what? Do I have celebration? I have celebration. You know, no one's ever asked me celebration. Susan, we are doing, make sure to tune in on Tuesday, because Tuesday we are going to do all, we're going to do all Arcadia. Angie, that's an oldie. Ballroom Boogie, that's an oldie but a goodie. It is. But I think someone mentioned, Jennifer. Jennifer's the winner. We're going to use some Celebration. So guys, Celebration is a font that is exclusive to Hobby Lobby. All right. So you'll see here, it is a 3mm font, though it is very thin. It's a really nice font. All right. That's the uppercase. Then we have the lowercase. And the numbers. But we're just going to use the lowercase. Yeah, I know. No one ever talks about it. No one ever asked me that. So, yes, Stephanie, those extras are adorable, aren't they? We're going to use lowercase. I'm going to use this, I'll use Celebration a little bit more. I know we never hit it, but this would work perfect on it. So, let's see. Let's do Chloe. So what's nice about the 3mm on this guys, you could definitely line it up easily, because you want to make sure that the bottom curved portion of your shank is lined up with your wire. There is my C. And I want to rock it back and forth because, like I said, it's not an even surface. All right. You still have a little bit of roundness to it, so definitely do your tilt and tap on that. Where's my H? My H, my C, and my H. You can, Jennifer, you could put the party hat on the smile. Yes, on the smiley face, you can. The L. And the O. Oop. And there she falls off. And then we're going to take the E. And there we have Chloe. How cute is that, guys? You know, and you could also do a quote, you know, a bubble quote. There were a bunch of bubble quotes and I couldn't pick one. I'm very indecisive today. But I'm going to continue my ball peen. Guys, and if you're afraid to hold it with your finger, you could definitely use the stamp tape and just hold that down, okay? So there's my Chloe. And you could also do your ball peen edge. Add a little bit more. I love that rustic craftsman feel to brass. I just think that it really gives it something special. And guys, you could even put a quote here. You could even put a quote. I'm gonna put I'm gonna use the uppercase. Come in with the uppercase for you guys. You know, you could put the year on it, you know, if you're giving away for 4th of July or you're having some kind of a dinner party at the house. And you could go back in and rebend it also to shape it a little bit after we've been hitting it. So I'm going to take, actually going to take my chasing head. And I took my T instead of my L. That's great. All right. Now, if we've ever textured a mistake, we're going to texture one now. So I grabbed my T instead of my L. So I'm just going to take my texture hammer and I'm going to hide my mistake. All right, perfect. Perfectly hid. And I'm going to come back in. There's my L. Here's my O. My V. And my E. And there I have my love right there. So I just think that it adds a little something. You know, you could continue it and you could do a quote if you'd like. I could definitely do that, Sharon. I could do a whole thing on texture. I could. I'll talk to Jen about it. And if you want to rebend it, guys, you can. You know, just take your tool again and just go around. Yes, you could hide your mistake by texturing over it. And there we go, guys. How great is that? You could choose to bring this in a little bit. I think I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. Take it from the bottom. Just bend that closed. You know? What's nice is about that is if you bend that one over also, guys, you could use big bubbles and little bubbles. So there's Chloe. And I'm going to take some enamel. And I'm going to use the black enamel. I'm just going to put that right inside of that name. I'm going to dab it and lightly wipe. And there you go. There is your Chloe. And that is your bubble wand, guys. All right, there's Chloe. All right. So now what I was telling you about before was the wand. So if you guys have bookmarks, I'm going to pull this back a little bit. So I use the bookmark, okay? And I used my green enamel that up against my sari silk. Looks very light blue. Okay? So you could use a bookmark And I just used 2 jump rings. I used 1 jump ring for my sari silk through it. Now you guys could use yarn, you could use ribbon. I grabbed whatever I had because our stores are just opening now. Okay, so this is a bookmark, but you could definitely, guys, you could definitely use, you could use your bracelet blanks. Okay, just by putting a hole in your end, stamping your message. You could even texture the outskirts of it and then attach your sari silk. All right. So I know we have questions about celebrations. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece and I'm going to stamp a little bit of that for you, okay? So here we go. I'll do some of the uppercase. Now remember guys, this is 3mm. It's a 3mm font, but it is very thin and a little narrow. And I just want to make sure that I have a really nice impression. And I'm really tapping it. I'm working on alchemy, so it's nice and light. And I will show you these amazing design stamps that it comes with. Again, if you like a more thicker look to your set, to your fonts, I like a little bit of more of a thin, clean line. So I tend to not overhit my stamp. Total personal preference. Because if you really are aggressive with how you hit it, okay, your font is a little thicker. So I know I'm going to get one question, so I might as well. We have Carly, who loves her uppercase, so I know that's going to be her question. So I'm just going to beat her to it. So you could see what the uppercase looks like. Okay. Celebration is a little thinner than Lollipop, and Lollipop is 4mm, so it's taller. See, Carly, I knew before you even asked, so I figured I would do your name for my regular. Bend this over so you guys could see. Okay, guys, so how nice is that font? How pretty is she? So we have a really nice balloon, an ampersand, a piece of cake. We have a party hat, a bow, an X and an O, and a wine glass. It's a little bit of something for everyone. And that's how it comes out. So I'm going to do I'll do the lowercase really quick for you guys. Let me pull another sticker out. So with this font, definitely you want to utilize your space in between your hash marks, okay? I'll do Carly's name in the lowercase as well since we did it up here so we could comparison. So with this font, I'm going between my orange and black hash marks, and I am lightly tapping because it's lowercase, and I'm working on a soft metal, which is the Alchemy. Let me come in. All right, and this is the lowercase. Yes, Dale, they are sold separately. Uppers and lowers and numbers are all sold separately. So, okay, guys, so there's Carly in the uppercase and Carly in the lowercase. I love, she's a good one. That's a good one. And I will quickly stamp out 3 numbers for you guys so you could see. The numbers are definitely my favorite. And there are the numbers, guys. All right. So the numbers are 3 millimeter also. Yep. So you'll see, guys, when we say 3 millimeter, it's 3 millimeter at its highest point. So the K, the A, you know, all the uppercase is 3 millimeter. When you're doing lowercase, of course, they're always going to be a little smaller than 3 millimeter, okay, because they're lowercase. The numbers are 3 millimeter. No, it's not similar to Juniper. Juniper is a much wider font. All right. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to flip you around. Put you back in there. So let's see if our bubbles work. Let's see. Where did we put our? Okay, so here are the 2. We ready? I'm going to take my glasses off. Let's see. Oh, and of course now. There we go. They work, guys. We have bubbles. Bubbles. So you can't tell me that you made them and they don't work. So let's see. Let's try our small one. So this is nice. My glue still isn't really dry, but you can see how nice that looks once they are dry. And I'm just gonna dip that in there. I got the cheap bubbles. I got dollar store bubbles. Okay. And it's not working with this one. I think my let's see. See if I could stick it in there. There we go. There we go. So they both work. So bubbles, bubble wands, ribbon wands, celebration font. So sky's the limit, guys.